Hello, my colleagues, classmates, professors. Welcome to my third presentation of the Adaptive Management Plan for Connecticut's Living Shorelines. This segment is on actions and strategies. What I'll do is further refine that vision statement from the previous presentation. I'll identify several alternatives as opposed to our Living Shorelines policy we're working with here, and our criteria that we will use to decide between these alternatives. So just to cover that main subject, what is a living shoreline? Living shoreline is a green infrastructure project that protects coastal property from erosion, provides ecological shoreline processes. In Connecticut, this is important because it is the preferred state permitting project that they're going to want to permit, and it's pretty recent that they've made this change, and so this is why you might want to adaptively study how this policy is making effect. A key part of this is that there's really two main goals of the coastal management, and that's to provide the protection as well as supporting the coastal ecosystem. So there's a sort of balance in play here, and we want to make sure that the state's policy is achieving these goals. That will be something to keep in mind. Our vision. So to further refine this, this vision is providing physical and ecological stability to Connecticut's shoreline, ensuring that its success continues in current and future conditions. Like I said, it's a new sort of thing in Connecticut, so we want to make sure, one, it's working right now, and two, Connecticut shoreline, faces approximately a meter of sea level rise in this century, and additionally, there's storms and other weather conditions that make this different from other project locations further south. So this is a more localized vision statement for our policy. Alternatives. So as this is a protection sort of policy, basically I see that there's three options. One is, if we figure out living shorelines are not working, they're not effective, we aren't doing what they're saying doing, we're not protecting property, you'll have to revert to the old policy, hard infrastructure. That would be the first alternative. Second alternative, what we're doing now, managing and improving the current policy, making sure that the state's encouraging and supporting living shorelines. That's the way we're going with this one right now. And then the only other way I see is a managed retreat, that is allowing the natural coastline processes to occur and relocating or condemning threatened property. So that is literally retreating away from the shore in the face of erosion, which, this is sort of looking at the costs, the benefits, and the long-term viability. If, we're going to have a lot of sea level rise, is it even worth trying to protect property for another 50 years if it's going to be underwater then? So going with the central track of how to improve the current policy and monitor this, these are our success criteria. One, the effectiveness of erosion control. Is the shoreline eroding or not? Two, the equivalency of restored habitat to native habitat. And that really is our living shorelines providing the ecosystem services. And that second dual of the dual management goals, is that being reached? Three, adaptivity to sea level rise. This is two things. Accretion, so the marsh vegetation should begin to accumulate sediment and therefore might be able to keep up with the level of sea level rise. And two, migration. This is, the marshes will begin to move further inland and to higher elevations, and they'll be able to establish longevity that way. That ties into that final point. We'll talk about that. And for acceptance by coastal populations, this is basically saying, are people going through with the Living Shoreline projects, are they still not accepting it? It's new. It's not the hard infrastructure that we're used to. And that 5 is the success criteria of longevity. That's we're going to be looking at a long-term sort of perspective, so that's why it's listed last, because these other ones are a little bit higher priority, right? So that's it for today. Thank you for listening in, and I welcome your feedback on this adaptation management plan I have here. Thanks.